Okay, so today's session is understanding special needs children, symptoms and strategies for support, brought to you by our Black Belts, Dorcas, Akinmuwagun, and I think she said she will also be with, is it Halima?
Jamila Mahmood.
Jamila Mahmood, sorry.
Yes.
Jamila Mahmood. So Dorcas and Jamila Mahmood. Dorcas is one of our Black Belts. She's a graduate from Bayero University, Kano, and she works at Intercontinental Schools in Kano. She's leading the session today with Jamila Mahmood. So over to you, Dorcas Akinmuwagun.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Dorcas Akin. Once again, we are here to present a topic: understanding special needs, symptoms, and strategy for support. And before I start, I want to appreciate Professor Akin and our mama in the house, Ajia Fatima, for the opportunity given. Thank you so much. My colleague will start first, then I will round up. Ms. Jamila, please can you? I'm sorry, Ms. Jamila, she's also a Black belt, please. Thank you so much. Ms. Jamila, can you please?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Are you sure they see me?
Good evening.
Good evening. We can hear you.
Good evening. I can hear you.
All right. It is nice to be with you today.
We can't see you though.
Okay. Okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can see you now.
It's nice to be with you today. And as the topic is on the screen for discussion today, we're going to be talking about special needs children. This topic is very, very crucial and important. We are speaking from Intercontinental School, Kano, here in Nigeria. Actually, in our lives, we tend to meet kids who have special disabilities, being it physical, emotional, medical, or learning disabilities. So we took it upon ourselves to create a kind of awareness for people to understand the symptoms and strategies in supporting these children. So I hope you guys are really going to enjoy the section today. All right, so quiet. All right. Today, we're going to explore the world of special needs children, focusing on understanding their symptoms and effective strategy in supporting them, just like we said.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. All right. I'm sorry for the interruption. Special needs children requires unique care and attention by gaining knowledge and tools to aid them. Here we can create a nurturing and loving environment for them. And these children have rights to learn and be happy in a good environment, just like every other regular child. So when we say special need child, who are these special need children we are talking about? So this brings us to letting you guys to understand, or the general public to understand, who is a special need child, or who is a special need person, because a child grew up to be an adult. So now a special need person refers to any individual that requires additional assistance. Just like I said, when you require an additional assistance, you are a special need person, or accommodation due to physical, mental, or emotional development. So these special needs children, we have different symptoms for us to understand, or characteristics, because we keep centering around special needs child. Now, what are those things that make you realize that this person is a special needs child? Well, the symptoms of special needs children starts from birth. As the child is growing, there are lots of, for example, we have missing developmental milestone, a lot of things in which a child is supposed to accomplish at his growth, and those things are being met from eye contact to crawling to sitting and walking, things like that. Now, being an educator, we have seen a lot of physical signs that makes us to understand that a child is a special needs child and this child needs an additional assistance. So the first symptoms we have here is autism spectrum disorder. That's ADHD. So now, when the child has ADHD, there are some symptoms for you to understand that, autism spectrum disorder, that's ASD. So when a child has this, when a child is diagnosed with autism, there are the symptoms for you to understand that this child has autism. And the child has social communication, that's difficulty in verbal and non-verbal communication. Limited eye contact, just like I said before, this things happen from the birth of a child. So you find out a child of 6, 7, and it doesn't give eye contact. So this calls for alarm. Even before the child gets to that stage, you need to look up to this kind of thing. So we have challenges in understanding and using social skills. So there are those things that are very, very easy for other regular children to accomplish. But a child with autism have the kind of challenges for he or she to accomplish the things. So we also have repetitive behavior and restricted interest. So these are part of the challenges that this child that has autism suffers. So we also have sensory sensitivity. So hypersensitivity or hyposensitivities to response to stimuli such as light, sound, touch, taste, or smell. You find out that these children, they are so they become so observant. They need to smell things they have to eat. They work with every part of their senses because some of them are visual, some of them are auditory. So that's how they are for autism. So we just have to make it snappy because of time. Here we have to talk about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's another part of the challenges children with special needs children suffers. That is ADHD. So we have some of those challenges in ADHD, which is what inattentiveness. The children tends to be very hyper, difficulties in sustaining attention, organizing tasks, and staying on track. So children with ADHD, they become very hyper. You realize that a child can't sit in one place. At that point, we blame these children, not knowing that these children have some challenges they are facing. So we have hyperactivity, we have impulsivity, acting without thinking. That's interrupting others and difficulties waiting for turn. They become so restless, they become so impatient. So these are some of the challenges. And we also have Down syndrome. So kids with Down syndrome have physical features. Yeah, unlike autism and ADHD, you might not know that this child is a special child when you see these children. But in terms of Down syndrome, they have physical features like upward, like slanting eyes, smaller features, like flat face and low muscle. Like they don't have strong muscles like other regular children. So we also have intellectual and developmental challenges. Children with Down syndrome, they normally suffer from intellectual and developmental challenges. That's delay in speech, language development, cognitive impairment, and varying degrees of learning difficulties. That's where learning disability now comes in. Mind you, children with autism, Down syndrome, they all have different learning disability or the order. So the next one is cerebral palsy. Now, cerebral palsy, it affects the movement and muscle coordination of a child. You realize a child is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 10 years, and the child can't even sit. The child needs support. So this is the support that we're talking about, that children, especially child, they always need support. So anybody who needs extra help is a special needs child. Now, cerebral palsy, movement and muscle coordination impairments, difficulties with fine and gross motor skills. So we'll talk about fine motor skills. It's talking about the finger grip of the child, how the child is holding things. Then the gross motor skill has to do with the power, the strength of the child. So
We can't hear you, Jamila. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Jamila. You're not audible.
okay. All right, all right.
We can hear you now.
Okay. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so let me come back to cerebral palsy, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we're still talking about the symptoms of the special needs children, and we are in cerebral palsy. Can I go on? Hello, ma?
Yes, go on.
All right. Now, cerebral palsy has to do with movement and muscle coordination impairment, difficulties with fine and gross motor skills, just like I said. When I say fine motor skill, we're talking about the finger grip of the child, the pincer grip of the child. And when we're talking about gross motor skill, we're talking about using the muscles for physical strength. So these are some of the challenges that children who have cerebral palsy suffer. So balance and posture issues. So a child who doesn't have strong muscles will definitely have balance and posture issue. That means the child can't sit upright, the child can't walk. So challenges to maintain balance and walking or sitting independently is one of those challenges for a child who has cerebral palsy. Now, here that brings us to learning disability. Now, part of the special needs children's challenges is learning disability. We realize that children with learning disability, most of them might look physically okay, and we might have those children that have autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy. We find out that they also have one learning disability or the other. So now, learning disability is okay. So writing disorder is part of the learning disability, which is dysgraphia. Dysgraphia is a challenge that has to do with a child writing eligibly or organizing thoughts on papers. So that is what when we say dysgraphia, we're talking about a child's inability to write. You find that you have a child in primary 5, JSS1, and the child is not writing well, or is writing it up and it's not really clear. So we realize that this child has what? Dysgraphia. So it's now left for the teacher to know how to bring out effective ways to follow up this child depending on the child's learning disability. So we still have what we call dyscalculia. So dyscalculia is a math disorder. Its inability, just like the name implies, dyscalculia is inability for a child to understand number or calculate or solve simple mathematics. So we also have reading disorder, which is dyslexia. Just like I said in this graph here, that a child can't write eligibly. This dyslexia is difficulty in reading, understanding letter, decoding, and comprehending written language. So that is what we mean by what this graph here. And we realize that we have a lot of children who have these challenges, but a lot of teachers might not understand. We just tag the children to be lazy and all that. So I just hope we really understand what this training is all about today. So the next thing, sorry, we just have to make it kind of fast because we have a lot to discuss, but for time not being on our side, you guys should bear with us. So the next thing here, we're going to be talking about the strategy for supporting special needs children. And number one strategy, just like we have mentioned, the symptoms of these children. So as an adult, when you realize that a child is a special need child, what are you supposed to do? What are the steps that we're supposed to take to support these children? So number one, we have what? Promotes inclusion and acceptance. That's encourage open conversation and education about special needs children to reduce stigma. Just like we're saying, what like we're doing now, we're trying to enlighten people to understand what the special needs children are facing and what they are all about, to reduce what being stigmatized in school, in their homes, in their environments, and all that. So under the promoting inclusion and acceptance, we will also foster an inclusive classroom environment. We have to encourage inclusive classroom environment for both the special and the regular children, so that the regular children, we understand that the special children, they exist and they should be shown love. So it's helped the regular children to grow up with empathy and love, and it's make the special children to feel accepted in inclusive environments they find themselves. So number two, here we have individualized educational plan. That's to collaborate with parents and teachers and specialists to create personalized educational plan for a child. When you have a special need child, you don't expect the child to go on with the regular school curriculum as other children. So we are advising you create what? An IEP, that's an individual educational plan. Now, you have to like set specific goal and accommodation and modification to address the child's unique needs. When you are setting up this plan, definitely you have to be specific with your goals. You know what you are aiming to do, what you're aiming to get, based on the child's special problems. So number two, under the strategies to support special need children, I think number three, accommodation and assistive technologies. Here we have, you modify teaching method and materials to suit different learning styles. Being a teacher, you might have this kind of children, one or two in your class. What are you supposed to do as a teacher? You have to modify teaching methods and material to suit different learning styles, because you don't have expect the special need child to have the same learning style with the regular child, or this dyscalculia child to have the same learning style with the dysgraphia child. So use assistive technology as text-to-speech software, mobility aid, and visual aid. So you need a lot of support in terms of technology to like follow up or to get these children to get to learn and feel loved and accepted in a learning environment. So these are some of the techniques that we have to use to support them. And we also have sensory integration strategy. Now, in this sensory integration strategy, what are we trying to say is to create a calm and structured environment by minimizing noise, brightness, overwhelming sensory stimuli. Just like we said that these children are of different stages and they all have their individual problem. So you have to minimize whatever the kind of light in your environment, the sound, even when you're having your nursery rhymes, you have to minimize, just make everything minimal and accepted for the children. So introduce sensory break and activities to provide sensory inputs and promote self-regulation. Whatever we are doing for a special need child, we have to involve all the child's senses in their learning process. Just like I said before, I said some of them are auditory learners, some of them are visual learners, some of them are hands-on. They just have to do hands-on learning. Most of special needs children, even the regular children, they need something they can touch, they can feel, and that is the only way that learning will take place for them. So positive behavioral intervention and support. So use proactive strategies to prevent what challenging and encourage positive behavior reinforcement. That is, whatever you're teaching these children, you have to be proactive. You have to use a lot of repetition. Focus on clear expectation, reward, and consistent consequences. That is, always acknowledge whatever positive behavior you find, or whatever growth, or whatever progress you find in these children, always acknowledge it. Let them feel that they are doing this because they want to do it. So what's the next? Here we have, okay, teaching. That's the next slide. Okay, teaching strategies for special needs children. So I think I'm going to let my colleague to take us on the teaching strategy for special needs children. All right.
Okay, thank you, Jamila. Thank you. We are all black belts. We've all done the pink belt. I think we need some interaction with our participants because we're not all novices and this is not new to all of us. So rather than just reading out information, let's make it a bit more interactive and let's get some input from our black belts on what kind of strategies do we use with our special needs children. So let's have some input in the chat and then we'll take it from there.
All right.
Black belts, come on. How do we support our special needs children? What do we do? What strategies do we use in our class? And then we can check it against the list. So we want people to interact. We want it to be interactive.
Section.
So we'll be waiting for the chat. Let's see what they come up with in the chat. So please, we want your answers in the chat. You've all done the pink belt about special needs. We had a module in our black belts that taught us different strategies on how to deal with special needs pupils. Can we have some interaction? Thank you, Prince Patrick, by giving them personalized attention. Yes, some children need shadows. They need a one-to-one person that will go around with them. Thank you, Prince Patrick. Can we have other people, please? We're here to have an interactive session, not a lecture. Okay, another person, please. Apart from Prince Patrick, can we have other people? Just say what you do. There is a statistic that says 1 in every 5 child in your class will have a special need. 1 in every 5. So in your class, you must have. It is not maybe. You definitely have one. What do you do? Okay, Oyekweju Abdurrauf, we shouldn't sympathize, but empathize. We should show them empathy. Thank you, Oyekweju Abdurrauf. Somebody else? What else do we do? What else do we do? Creating a conducive and accommodating environment. Thank you, Ankiri Sisa. Okay, what kind of things can we put in our classroom? What kind of things can we put in our classroom to help children that have special needs? Connections with the learners, yes. Building positive relationships with our learners is very important. That's good. What else can we do? Thank you, Zainab Suleiman. Anybody else? Any other suggestions? We're here to share our knowledge. We're all black belts. We've done the pink belts. We've learned about special needs. Let's discuss it. Anything else? Anybody else? Just type in the chat. How do you deal with that special child in your class? Repetition, Ijoma, a member. Repetition approach. Pictorial representation. Thank you. Visuals. Thank you. Visual learning. Visual learning. A good support system. Do we have a special needs a person in our school? Using different colors in presentations. Yes, pictures, visuals. Okay, thank you. Now I can move on to the next slide and we can see, we can compare with what Dorcas prepared. Thank you for that. Okay, yes, as we can see, visual support, individual, multisensory, structured environment, it's all there. So thank you. Okay, I'll hand over to Dorcas.
Thank you, Ma. The next slide is teaching strategy for special needs. Our children can vary depending on the specific needs and ability of the child. However, here are some general strategies that we are going to talk about. Number one of it is individualized instruction. Individualized instruction. As an educator, you tailor your teaching approach to meet the specific needs of the child, identify their strengths and weakness, and develop learning activities and materials that are appropriate for their level of understanding. You need to know their strengths. You need to know their weakness. Then you come down to their level. That's how you can help them. And number two, we were talking about a multisensory approach. Incorporate different senses, sight, hearing, touch, to engage the child in the learning processes. In the Montessori school, there is one curriculum area called sensoria, whereby you need to drill a child. Those special needs children, they use every part of their sense organs to learn. You can also use visual aids, manipulative and interactive activities to help them grasp and retain information. When we talk about structural environment, that's number three. I don't know who can explain the structural environment. I just want to talk about to make the environment conducive. So I'm asking the question now. What do we mean by that structural environment? Please, the black belt. Structural environment, number three. Who can explain the meaning? We are talking about teaching strategy. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Now. Hello? Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you.
Okay, talking about structured environment. That's as an educator, we need to establish a predictable structured learning environment where clear routines and expectations. Now, this can help provide a sense of security and make it easier for the child to focus and learn. Another one is visual support. In what way can we support them? Or in what way that technology can be helpful? A black belt, please. Visual support. As someone said, an environment that have been designed to accommodate special needs children. I think someone was trying to talk about structural environment means conducive environment for the special pupils according to their needs. When we talk about visual support, that we need to use visual support such as charts and diagrams to help the children understand and follow instruction. Whatever they see, that's what they grab. That's why have to make use of once they see something, they want to reflect back what they've seen in the system. So visual can provide a clear and concrete presentation of information. The other thing also positive reinforcement. When we talk about positive reinforcement, we use a system of reward and praise to motivate and reinforce positive behavior and learning. Once a child was able to do something, we have to encourage them. Say, well done, you've done a great job. You have to praise them for the work well done. That alone will motivate them. They want to do more. That you have to provide immediate feedback and acknowledge the child progress and effort, which can increase their confidence and engagement. So another strategy is break tasks into smaller units. Some children may need tasks broken down into smaller, more manageable steps. And this can help them to have a better understanding of what they are doing. For example, in an inclusive environment whereby you have the regular children and those with special needs students, if we give them a classroom, maybe you have to write 1 to 100, for example, for those special needs, you don't expect them to write 1 to 100. If they're able to write 1 to 10, I think they've achieved. So by so doing, they'll be independent in whatever they are doing, and that alone will be their confidence and skills. Then another thing also is differentiated instruction. When we talk about differentiated instruction, please, what does that mean? We have done, we are all a black beta. We are still the experience of differentiated instruction and in the pink model. What does that mean? Please, hello, if you know it, please, can you just please talk?
Okay, please put it in the chat.
Differentiated instruction. Can I put it in
What
chat?
is differentiated instruction?
Instruction.
What do we mean by differentiation? What is differentiated instruction?
Okay, let me talk. When we talk about a strategy, let's talk about differentiated instruction. That is what adjust your teaching method and materials to accommodate the child's unique learning needs. That you provide accommodation, modification, or alternative assignment as needed to ensure their success in the classroom.
Okay,
then
thank
the
you.
other
Sisa and Kiri said, giving learners activities depending on their abilities and needs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Another one is an assistive technology. Just like my colleague explained, that you have to explore the use of assistive technology tools that can support the child's learning, communication, or organization. This may include device or software that assists with reading, writing, or organizing information. For example, those children that are autistic, they hardly talk. So by the time you support them with kind of visual, whatever they see, they want to reflect or mimic what they see. They want to what you can that is they want to say what they had from the system. The other thing also number 9 is collaboration with other professionals, just like what we're doing now. That you have to collaborate with other professionals. That whatever you don't understand concerning the special needs, you ask the question. That you work closely with other professionals involved in the child education, such as special education teachers, therapists, and counselors. So collaborating on strategies and sharing information can help ensure a holistic approach to support the child's needs. And the number 10 strategies, patient and flexibility. When we talk about patient and flexibility, remember to be patient and flexible in your approach. If you are dealing with a special needs children, you need to be patient. So every child is unique, and it may take time to discover what strategy works best for them. That adapt as your teaching method as needed, and be open to new. I've been trying to to use new approach. You need to be flexible. You need to be patient. That leads us to bullying. How to address bullying. How to address bullying of special needs children by teachers and students. To address bullying of special needs child in an inclusive environment, it requires collaborative efforts from both teachers and children. And some of the steps that we need to do is, number 1 is educate and create awareness. As an educator in an inclusive environment, we should ensure that all students in the classroom understand what special needs are and why they should be treated with respect and kindness. You can promote empathy and inclusivity through discussion, presentation, or activities that help foster understanding of different abilities. Teach them how to work, teach them love. Let them be kind to others. And that alone will help. Then another thing also is foster a positive classroom culture. When we say foster a positive classroom culture, who can tell us what that means? Foster a positive classroom culture.
Okay.
If you can put it in
Please
the chat.
write in the chat or unmute. How do we create how do we foster a positive classroom culture? Anybody would like to unmute or type in the chat?
Hello.
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 This is Sisa. One way of creating a positive classroom culture is by teaching the rest of the learners to accept others' needs and treat them as normal human beings who are able to do things in a normal way. As much as they have special needs, they can still be doing activities just like the rest. Try to encourage the others. If there is a problem, they try to talk about it and address it instead of making it serious. Instead of making the learners feel unwanted, they can encourage them to feel part of the team. That is a positive
Thank
classroom
you.
culture.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes,
Thank
building
you,
a positive
Mr. Prince
relationship
Patrick.
with
Yeah.
your pupils. Yes, Prince Patrick.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. Another way we can foster positive classroom culture is by creating positive relationships, by having to create an empathetic feeling with our students, trying to make sure we understand them, trying to at least try to carry them in a positive environment, making sure that, yes, you always try to carry their strengths and at least try to see how you can manage their weaknesses, not showing them that they are nothing, but trying to encourage them to see the excellent part of themselves. That's what I feel. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. When we talk about foster a positive classroom culture, as an education, we need to encourage a safe and inclusive environment where all students feel valued and respected. That we need to promote teamwork, cooperation, and kindness. That is reinforce positive behavior and provide praise when students actively demonstrate empathy and support towards support towards their their classmates. So you have to you have to promote a kind of a teamwork, cooperation in your classroom as an educator. That alone, that is the positive classroom culture. Then another point is opening open communication channel. When we talk about open communication channel, as an educator, teachers should establish an open line of communication with students and encourage them to report any bullying incidents they witness or experience. This can be done through classroom discussion, that you have to or schedule check-in with each student to address concern. For example, now if you are in the class, maybe you don't you have the class, and so one child who talks very well was somehow moody. You need to ask the question. Now you need to kind of show kind of relationship. Build a relationship with them. So by so doing, when you ask the question, able to open up. That as an educator, you need to work. You make yourself accessible. You build relationship with your with the kids. So once they have any form of bullying, they're able to come out and explain what they face out there. Then number 4 is provide professional development for teachers, just like what we are doing now. So it is crucial that teachers receive training on special needs education and strategy to prevent bullying. I'm talking about in an inclusive environment whereby you have special needs children and also have a regular one. So you need to be trained. This training can help them better understanding the unique needs of children with disabilities and equip them with effective strategy for addressing bullying when it occurs. Then another one is individualized support. Individualized support. Can anyone unmute himself to explain what individualized support means?
There is actually another answer from the previous question. I don't know if you're reading the chat. Sisa Ankiri said, lead by example as a teacher and encouraging acceptance. Encourage learners to demonstrate love and empathy to each other. So we are role models. We have to lead by example, reprimanding negative behavior towards those with special needs. Somebody said that. Okay, so you're asking about individualized support. Yeah, okay. Who wants to answer that? How do we provide individualized support to our special needs children? Anybody wants to speak or type in the chat? I think there's something in the chat. Individualized support means helping a learner as an individual and not doing blanket instruction. So maybe like she spoke about the IEP earlier on, Jamila spoke about having IEPs, setting goals, setting plans. Sometimes a child might even need a shadow. Some autistic children might need a one-to-one person to guide them. Prince Patrick says, individual support refers to tailoring assistance. I'm coming, oh, sorry. Individualized support refers to tailoring assistance and services to meet the unique needs and preferences of each person, recognizing their specific requirements and circumstances. Thank you. Doing so without necessarily showing partiality. No partiality. Thank you very much, Sister Ankiri and Prince Patrick.
Okay, thank you. When we talk about individualized support, if a special needs child is being bullied, that you need to provide them with a necessary support. This may include additional social skills training, one-on-one counseling, or personalized intervention to help them cope with bullying situation. And also, we need to collaborate with school support staff, such as counselor or special education teacher, to create an individualized plan and consider involving the child.
Oh, what happened to you?
Parents or guide numbers is peer support intervention. That's how.
Sorry,
shall I continue?
You froze.
Okay. Peer support and intervention. That is number 6. With how to address bullying. That we encourage students to become eligible for their classmates with special needs. That teach them love. That foster an atmosphere where students actively stand up against bullying and intervene when they witness it happening. And so they can be taught appropriate way to intervene, whether through reporting to a trusted adult or stand up for their classmates. So that is why I said that you need to teach them love. You need to what? You need to teach them love. That you need to coach as in foster a positive classroom culture. Then number 7 of 3, talking about parent involvement. That you need to engage guardians in discussion about bullying prevention and inform them about any incident involving their kids. That you need to involve parents, and by so doing, it will help to address the bullying of special needs children by teachers and students. And that will take building self-esteem in a special needs child. When we talk about building self-esteem in a special needs child, requires patience, understanding, and individualized approach. Here are some strategies that can be helpful. Number 1 of it is focus on strengths. That you need to know the strength of the child, you need to know their weaknesses, that you need to encourage them and provide opportunity for them to pursue their activities. I mean, these activities, which can boost their confidence and sense of achievement. And number 2 is providing a supportive environment. When we talk about providing a supportive environment, who can explain what that means? Provide a supportive environment. That's how to build. I'm talking about how to build self-esteem in special needs children. Number 2 means that provide a supportive environment. Since you can unmute yourself if you want to talk. Provide a supportive environment. So as an educator, that you need to create a safe and nurturing space where the child feels valued and accepted for who they are. That is show empathy and encourage open communication. That's how you can support the environment. Also, celebrate their accomplishment, no matter how small. How small. If you look about the strategy, I talk about that breaking tasks into smaller units. Whatever they accomplish, you need to work. You need to encourage them. You need to what? You need to praise them. That is foster positive reinforcement. Another thing also, we have to set achievable goals. That is break down larger tasks or skills into smaller, more manageable steps. As the child successfully accomplishes each step, their self-esteem will grow. Encourage them to track their progress and celebrate each milestone, reinforcing their perseverance and abilities. And another one is encourage self-expression. Allow the child to express themselves creatively through art, music, or other medium that they enjoy. Engage in activities that encourage self-expression and provide opportunities for them to share their ideas and feelings in a non-judgmental environment. Then another one is promote independence and autonomy. When we say promote independence and autonomy, who can explain that, please? Like we're talking about building self-esteem in a special needs child. Building self-esteem in a special needs child. We say promote independence and autonomy. Who can explain that, please? How can we promote independence and autonomy in a special needs? If you can type it or you can unmute yourself and talk. That is encourage, that is when we talk about promote independence and autonomy, that is we encourage independence in an age-appropriate task and decision making, giving the child a sense of control over their own life, allow them to make choices and problem solve, that is to provide guidance as needed. This fosters a sense of competence and self-worth. That's how we can promote independence and autonomy. That's how it helps them to build self-esteem. Then another thing also is foster social connection. Somebody said that teaching learners to work or do tasks on their own to build confidence. Thank you. Someone said doing so without necessarily showing partiality. Okay. Then we're talking about foster social connection. That you help the child develop a positive relationship with peers and adults who support and appreciate them. That you encourage participation in group activities, clubs, or therapy section that provide opportunity for social interaction and development of social skills. That you need to help the child to develop kind of relationship with you. So by so doing it will build the esteem. The another thing is teach self-advocacy. That is to empower the child to speak up for themselves and their needs. Help them develop the skills to express their thoughts, emotions, and preferences. So they feel confident in advocating for themselves in various environments. The another one is number 8, is promote resilience. Promote resilience, building self-esteem in special needs child. Number 8, promotes resilience. That is teach the child how to face challenges and setbacks. That you encourage them to view failure as learning opportunity. As learning opportunity and highlight their strength as they walk through difficulty. By fostering resilience, you can help strengthen their self-esteem in the face of adversity. Then number 9, which is the last one, is encourage self-care. Encourage self-care. That is teach the child the importance of taking care of their physical, emotional, and mental well-being. You help them develop self-care routines, such as engaging in physical activities, getting enough rest, and practicing relaxation techniques. A healthy sense of self-worth is often linked to good or self-care habits. That you teach them that this is very important. You encourage them to take care of themselves, either physically or emotionally, and mental well-being. That's how you can build their self-esteem. Now, building self-esteem is an ongoing process. That's why in the Montessori, there's what we call a practical life. Practical life is an everyday life skills. Like it promotes independence in the child. So once you allow the child to do some things on their own, it will build their esteem. So building self-esteem is an ongoing process. So you have to be patient and consistent in your support as an educator, and be sure to involve the child parents, teachers, and therapists in the journey of ensuring a holistic approach to their well-being. Thank you. Somebody say excellence teaching them how to overcome challenges. And thank you, Sarah Steny. So thank you. This is the end of today's section, understanding special needs children, and how we can support them, and a strategy we can use to support them.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorcas and Jamila, for your very informative session on special needs and inclusion and bullying. One of my concerns is because what I experienced when I was in Nigeria is this denial by some parents in not accepting their child's condition, and then also the stigma that we have in our society towards special needs. How do you deal with parents who are in denial and cannot accept? And in some cases, they will link it to a spiritual condition rather than a psychological condition. How do we deal with our own cultural inacceptances from parents and from society? If I had a child, for example, in a school, and the parents did not want to accept that he had a special need, how would you deal with that?
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Jamila.
All right, thank you very much for your question. Actually, a lot of people are in denial of this special needs case. That is why we are out creating awareness. Is one of the ways to make people to understand that these children quite exist. All right, even not just educated, you find highly educated people, they refuse to accept, though you don't blame them. Because it's very hard for you as an individual to accept that your child has one disability or the other. So now once we try to, remember when we're trying to talk, we talk about stigma, how to accept them in an inclusive environment. Now imagine if a particular school is being designed out for only special needs children, and they are not allowed to go into the regular school, or they are not allowed in an inclusive environment. What do you think is going to happen to them? So their parents will feel stigmatized, and they won't want to accept that their children have this special needs problem.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Jamila.
To make complaints like this child is supposed to be in things like that. Now tell me, what do you think is going to become of the parent on denial that my child is fine? But if this particular teacher realized that this child have this kind of challenge, follow the effective strategy in supporting these kids to make their learning enjoyable and okay, just like every other child, then the parents will accept this. We have to make people to start to understand that it's okay. When a child is special, when a child has ADHD, we don't tag them to be mentally deranged. We try to understand that these things do exist, and we should learn how to accept them in our environment and how to take care of them, how to love them. So definitely we'll begin to see people accepting their situation because they are getting help from people. But when they are being stigmatized, that is where the problem comes from. So acceptance, and one of those things you just say, so creating awareness about them, allowing inclusive school, and bringing out effective development are those things they need. And when this, as their parents are going to accept and be thankful of the kind of. Thank you very much. Did I answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, yes. By creating awareness, we need to create more awareness about this, and to also, I also think that there needs to be more opportunities for people with learning disabilities, and a lot more accommodations in not only primary but secondary and higher institutions for people, so that they will be able to pursue their careers, their profession, their studies smoothly. So yeah, I agree with you, creating an awareness, creating more awareness about this, some parents who go to the extreme of locking them up, not letting anybody know, not letting them out. So we need to create more positive awareness amongst our parents about such children. Thank you. Any other questions?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Issa. I'm also asking a question closely linked to what Fatima has asked. There are these parents who will bring children to school, but they know they have special needs, but they never inform the teacher. You only get to know about it from the behavior of the child. And again, you want to the parent, they'll tell you their child is okay. How will you go about it?
All right, thank you very much. When you have issues like this, so if you should go back to the slide, you'll find out that we talk about having conversations with continual discussion between the parents, teachers, and the school authority. As a teacher, when you have this kind of child in your class, that is why a teacher is supposed to understand every child in his or her class. When you have a special needs child or special needs children, mostly these things are being discovered in school. Even children who are visually impaired, at times their parents might not know. You as a teacher will be the one to realize, like, this child does write correctly, and you try to find out what the problem is, bring him closer to the board, you still have challenges, then you understand that this child have a kind of, is visually impaired. So some of those special need problems, at times, the parents might honestly not know, because some of their children are first kids and the child is autistic, and they'll tell you that don't worry, it's because it's the only child is going to talk with sign, your child is going to talk, it's because it's the first child, and things like that. So it's with time. You bring your child to school expecting positivity in the communication, and yet you're not getting what you require. So before the parents don't accept and take the child out of the school, of course, whatever kind of school that child is taken to, the same thing is going to be done. So if the parents accept or not, as long as the child is in your class, we teachers should do our own part. That's the most important thing. You have to voice out, this is the child challenger, whether the parents accept or not. You have to start bringing out what effective strategies for that child. So meanwhile, as in the teacher is going to collaborate with the parent, and definitely the teacher is going to collaborate with the school authority, and definitely the school authority must have a way to communicate this in a decent way, in an acceptable way for the parents' understanding. So because sometimes information depends on how it is being delivered. It might be delivered in a way that you just feel that, my child is gone. Being a special need, that's the end of the child. No. So you have to get the right media, the right person who understand what special need people are, to explain to the parent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you need an educational psychologist or
Yeah.
a pediatrician. You need a
Yes.
specialist to confirm, because there's also misdiagnosis sometimes in some cases. So you do need a specialist to be able to assess the child. The child needs to be assessed, maybe by a pediatrician if they're younger, an educational psychologist, to say that, okay, yes, your child does have autism. And because the thing with autism is there's also a spectrum. They're not all the same. There is a range of children with autism. So we need specialists to confirm as well. You might need to go to a private educational psychologist, and this might involve money, or you might have to go to a hospital to have a clear diagnosis of what is wrong with the child. Okay, so unfortunately, we've run out of time. It's 4 minutes past 7. Thank you very much, Jamila and Dorcas, for this session. We have to call it a day now, because we've spent over an hour, and I'm sure people have other things to go. Our black belts in East Africa, it's after 9. They are 2 hours ahead of Nigeria. So thank you once again, and
Thank you,
have a
ma'am.
nice evening.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Okay, have a nice evening.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.